Hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis P11. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. And today we're going to do a cleaning of this very cool Smith Wesson 629 DS stainless steel double action 44 Magnum revolver. Now this revolver is on loan to us from Stan, the owner of SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. Contact information for SS Pawn is right there on the screen for you. Give them a call and SS Pawn will take care of your firearms needs. They've been a long-time supporter of the channel, so we'd like to show them a little bit of support back. Alright, so revolvers, very, very easy to clean. If you're a revolver person, you probably got a lot of experience with this already. If not, you know, these videos are designed just to take you through a simple step-by-step process on what you need to do to get your revolver looking good again. Actual tools that you're going to use to clean the revolver, it doesn't take a whole lot. At a minimum, you know, patches, a good brush, bore brush, and some cleaner, and you're pretty much good to go. But there's a few extra supplies that I like to use. The cleaner that we're going to be using for this particular cleaning today is Cleanse Oil. I love this stuff. I just started using it. I cleaned about 4 or 5 of my firearms with it, and it works really good. It doesn't leave a real oily residue, unlike, you know, CLP or even Rem Oil. And it cleans well. It's kind of a two-step process. You apply it, wipe off the surfaces that you want to clean, and then you wipe them off a second time, and that's what removes the dirt and the grime and leaves behind a nice protective coating. It's not cheap. These are just little sample bottles, so I got these little dinky bottles in the mail to try out. But I wanted to make sure that I like it before I started using it. Now, you can use CLP, you can use Rem Oil, you can use whatever cleaner you enjoy, Hoppy's 9 and so on, but just make sure that you use something and a brand that you trust. We've also got some 44 Magnum bore brushes, cylinder brushes. We can use these to clean out the chambers on the cylinder. We're not necessarily going to run these down the barrel because we do have a bore snake we're going to use. Soft bristle brush, you can use, an old toothbrush if you have one. Otherwise, these are, you know, gun cleaning specific brushes. You can buy these in the accessories section at your sporting goods stores or mom and pop gun stores and so on. I do like to use a single piece cleaning rod. This makes it really easy to clean out the chambers and the cylinder. We may be going back from the front of the barrel, attaching a patch and pulling through to apply the lubricant down the barrel when we begin the process of cleaning out the bore. But a single piece cleaning rod is really nice to have around. You also want to make sure that maybe you keep your lenses covered if you have any kind of an optic on your revolver. You want to keep the oil away from that, make sure it doesn't get on them and coat them and do anything to the glass and so on. So we've got the lens caps on today. I'm also going to use a bore snake, and I use this instead of the traditional cleaning rod and cleaning brush and so on. A couple passes of the bore snake down the barrel, and typically your barrel is going to be clean. I've also got a bore light that we'll bust out. We'll use that to check the barrel to make sure it's nice and clean. And some cotton patches come in really handy. You can cut up an old cotton t-shirt if you want to. Otherwise, I buy these for the channel. They just look better on camera and they're really convenient to use, although they're not cheap, but they do work really well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the 629DX, it is a beast. It is a blast to shoot. 629 Classic DX, sorry about that. We put about 50 rounds through this revolver, so we're going to see just how dirty this revolver actually gets when you put, you know, say 50 rounds through it. And that's it. When we tested it on the video, that's all we had for ammunition for it. So we're going to go ahead and start off and ensure that the revolver is in fact unloaded. So go ahead and eject the cylinder. Okay, check the chambers. We are empty. And we are good to go. Now we will do just a general coating of the outside of the firearm with some Cleanse Oil and then wipe it off with a dry patch, and we will leave it at that. So to start off, why don't we go ahead and start off with the cylinder, because that's the part that tends to get a buildup on the back and especially on the front. Now there are some specific stainless steel cleaners that you can use on this cylinder, but since this is not my firearm, I don't want to risk using anything that could cause some etching or any problems. Now this is going to be a two-step process. This is a little bit different from my other cleaning videos. What we're going to do is we're going to apply the Cleanse Oil. We're going to let it soak in a little bit on all the surfaces that need to be cleaned, and then we're going to come back and we are going to wipe it off again and do the second thing. The thing is, I'm not going to show you that second phase. I'll just prompt you to go do it. In other words, you'll be watching me clean the same parts 2 times in a row, and I'd rather just save you the time on the cleaning video. Yes, also important to have in mind, when you do any cleaning of firearms, if you're using any kind of chemicals, unless say it's like Ballistol, which is, I believe, non-toxic and environmentally friendly, you want to make sure that you use some sort of nitrile gloves or say rubber gloves for cleaning to keep the chemicals out of your skin. You're going to be dealing with some burned gunpowder, some firearm residue, some chemical residue, so it's always a good idea to try to keep your skin healthy if at all possible. If you do have to use your bare hands, just make sure that you wash it with cold water first, which closes up your pores, and then hit it with warm soapy water to get the residue and everything off your skin. Okay, so let's start off by wiping off the crane area and the front of the cylinder. We put some Cleanse Oil on the patch, and we'll just begin here. Go ahead and wipe off the ejection rod a little bit on the outside. Again, everything that we're doing, we're going to come back and do a second time with another patch with Cleanse Oil on it. and that's going to allow the cleaner to soak in, and then again, the second round is going to actually remove a lot of the debris and leave the lubrication behind that we need. So again, we're just wiping off the cylinder. It is a little bit dirty, so we're going to put just a little bit of cleanse oil on the soft bristle brush. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and get the front of that cylinder with the bristle brush. It is kind of a large, unwieldy pistol, so it is just a little bit hard to keep this thing in focus and on camera. There we go. So the brush, let that soak in. Now you should let this stuff soak in for maybe about, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then come back and wipe it all off. This is already starting to take off the worst of the fouling on the front of the cylinder. Okay, let's go ahead and continue wiping. If you want to save time, you can have a bunch of your patches, pre-prepped with cleanse oil on them or CLP or whatever it is that you like to use. Go. Okay, that's starting to work pretty good. Might need another shot of that, so we're going to let that sit. We'll come back and go over it again. Go ahead and press on your ejector rod and go ahead and wipe off the back portion right here. There we go. Hopefully this is all in focus for you guys. You're also going to want to wipe off the rear of the cylinder, as you're going to get some buildup in there too. Okay, we're going to hit that with another patch here in just a sec. Again, lots of powder residue coming off of the patches. Gives you a good idea as to how dirty the gun is, obviously, right? Don't worry, any extra residue that we have on the firearm, we will wipe off when we're done with it. Go ahead and wipe off the rear of the cylinder. Push out that ejector one more time, or clean out the area of the extractor. Okay, there we go. Now to clean out the cylinders, you got a lot of options. I'm going to run a patch down the rear of each of these chambers, and we're just going to put a little bit of cleanse oil on the patch, run it down the rear, let it sit for a couple minutes, and come back and do that all over again. So I'll show you the first chamber how I'm going to do it, and then after that I'll let you do that on your own, because it might take a couple minutes and you don't need to waste time watching the video doing it. So again, a little bit of cleanse oil on the patch. Really do like this stuff. I'm really surprised at how well it performs. You do see it take off a considerable amount of carbon fouling, burnt powder, and so on. And I've used this so far in about 4 or 5 different firearms with various finishes and never had any problems so far. So we'll go from the back of the cylinder, scrub it out a little bit. We're going to let this sit for a couple minutes, and then we're going to come back. There we go. Again, this is where a single piece cleaning rod really comes in handy. You can run the bore snake down it if you want to. It's kind of overkill, but that is an option if you don't have a single piece cleaning rod or patches on standby. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is let this sit for 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're going to come back, wipe it all off again, and then we'll move on to the next step. So you go ahead and do the same. Give yourself a couple minutes, wipe it all off exactly how I just showed you, and then we'll come back and move on. Okay, so we've got the cylinder all cleaned up and the chambers are all cleaned out. We got everything scrubbed up nice and neat, and it is basically at a point where you can leave it. Inside of this area where the cylinder is going to rest, go ahead and just wipe it out, and you're going to see a lot of buildup coming off those patches. Same situation with this. We're going to apply the cleanse oil. Now if you're doing CLP, you could just do a 2-quick step. You could just wipe it on, put another coating on, wipe it off, and you're done. For the cleanse oil, again, they tell you to let it soak in for a little while, and then come back and then hit it with one more patch with the same cleaner on it, and then you're all set. You can take a bristle brush of this if you want to, but honestly, the cleanse oil is taking off all the residue that we have. And I don't think this revolver's been fired a whole lot. It really is not that dirty. Okay guys, so what we're going to do to clean the barrel, now that we've got the cylinder all cleaned up and ready to go, is for the barrel itself, it's pretty simple. We're just going to put a little bit of cleanse oil on the bore snake and go ahead and run it from the back to the front a couple times. I was going to use my single piece cleaning rod, but it's not long enough. So instead of trying to mess with it or get the other cleaning rods out, we're just going to go ahead and go with the bore snake, okay, which makes it really simple. So this is a 44 mag, 45 caliber, 454 caliber bore snake. This is a bore snake, I believe it's made by, this is made by Hoppies. What you want to do is just apply a little bit of cleanse oil in front of the copper bristle brushes right here, okay, and a little bit behind. And this is going to basically drag it through and then mop it out when it gets done. Now if you're using a traditional cleaning rod, what you're going to want to do is push your cleaning rod through, put your patch on, and then pull it out, and repeat the process a couple times. I don't recommend you just go through and scrub. I think that's probably not the best way to do it, but this is just how I clean the guns. So let's go ahead and run the bore snake through a couple times. I can see the buildup and the residue in the barrel. After pushing 50 rounds through it, it's got some buildup going on in there. And then we'll show you the bore when we get done. So go ahead and just pull the bore snake through. I'm going to let it sit for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to repeat the process with more cleanse oil on the bore snake. There you go. I'm going to do this 2 times, and then we're going to run it through 2 more times, and then we'll bust out the bore light and see if we can show you just how clean that barrel truly is. Okay guys, so unfortunately I was not able to locate my bore light. I just used it for one of my podcasts the other day. I'm going to have to see where I sat it. So we're just going to go ahead and just run a flashlight through the bore, and you can see it is nice and clean right now, nice and shiny. There we go. See those grooves in there? It is absolutely perfect and ready to go. Something else I wanted to mention is that you can use these 44 caliber bore brushes, these particular cleaning brushes, in the chambers of the cylinder if you want to, if you need to do some scrubbing. That's always an option. For me, just simply running the patch through took care of it because they weren't super dirty. We're going to go ahead and just wipe off the outside of the firearm with a little bit of cleanse oil on a patch. See if it brings off any residue. Okay, so just go ahead and do the same. We'll go back over it again in just a couple minutes. Again, real light coating. You don't want to leave a lot of oil on your firearms because that's going to attract dirt and grime and dust and so on. Just enough to prevent them from getting rusty. There we go. Wipe off the trigger area, trigger guard. Very, very easy firearm to clean. Go ahead and pull back the hammer, and you can wipe off the hammer area if you want to. Now you may want to check your manual to see if you have any real specific lubrication points, but typically your revolvers are just about maintenance free for the most part. There we go. So you wipe out this area. And again, we're going to repeat this process in about 2 or 3 minutes after everything soaks in. Go ahead and lower the hammer. There you go. So we'll come back, repeat, and then we will have a clean revolver. Alright, so that wraps up our cleaning of the 629DX classic Smith Wesson revolver. Guys, please like and subscribe if you like what you see here. Guys, you can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm also over on UGEtube, Gunstreamer, and guntube.org. And also on Saturday mornings, we have a little podcast that we do called Caliber Corner. It starts up at 8 a.m. Central Time. Usually talk guns and ammo, prepping supplies, shooting supplies, range supplies, and so on. But if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Guys, I want you to have fun, be safe, enjoy your revolvers and your firearms, get out to the range and do some shooting, and as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.